Students, let's continue with our second chapter from your economics book of grade 10, and the name of the chapter is land. So here we are trying to understand what is the meaning of productivity of land. Productivity of land refers to the extent or efficiency of the land, the amount of return we are getting from the land. They are telling this is the productivity of land. So suppose we are doing some agricultural activity, we are cultivating maybe rice. So as we are putting in the efforts, what is the productivity, how much quintal of rice we are getting in return, that is being said as productivity. So we are categorizing into three categories. One is the total production of land, other is average production of land, and the last is the marginal production of land. Total production of land means the total area which is used by the farmer or the cultivator, and the amount, the total quantity of rice that person or maybe whatever that person is planting getting in return, that is called the total production. So here we took an example of 2 hectares of land and getting in return 4 quintals of rice. So average production of land means the output divided by the area of land. This is the meaning of average. So 4 quintals we got in return, so 4 quintals divided by 2 hectares. This is the average production. Average production means that in average each hectare of land is producing how much. This is the meaning of average. Next we are having marginal production of land. Marginal production of land means with addition of each unit, what is the change in production, that is called marginal production. Like before we were taking 2 hectares, now let us consider 3 hectares. So out for these 3 hectares, what is the quantity we got in return? 5 quintals of rice we got in output. So we can conclude by saying that the marginal production of the third unit or the last 1 unit we added is 1 quintal, right? Your next subtopic is factors affecting productivity of land. What are the factors that are affecting the production? Fertility of land. As I was telling you, the natural quality of the land is not same in every place. Like in West Bengal, we can cultivate rice, we can cultivate maybe vegetables. But if you go to Darjeeling, it's same, it's West Bengal only. But if you go to Darjeeling, you'll get their hills. So it is a slopy land and it is rocky soils there. So you cannot cultivate rice there, but you can cultivate good amount of tea there. Whereas in our area, tea cannot be cultivated like that. Also, the fertility of land is changing, right? Fertility means the land is having the ability to produce the crops or the plants, that is called fertility. When the fertility is less, that time the plants will not grow fast, and maybe if you sow 4 to 5 seeds, you'll get only one plant. Okay, the plants do not germinate well in this unfertile or less fertile land. So fertility of land changes from one place to another. We understood this. Next is proper use of land. Where the land is located, we have to understand this first and then we can use it. Suppose a piece of land is somewhere in a maybe in a village area, and there if we try to build up a multiplex, maybe a shopping mall, will that be very beneficial for that owner? No. So if that same mall or multiplex is built in the heart of a city, that will run well. So we have to understand the proper use of land. We have to first decide and analyze what is the surrounding and what thing is needed there. We have to understand this. Now third is location of land. So similarly, for better agricultural productivity, its location is very important. Like for example, if somebody is making a jute factory, so making, that person will need jute. Somebody is making a jute mill, that person will need jute, and that person will need huge amount of water also. So the jute mill have to be built somewhere near the river bank. For example, if somebody is building a brick factory, brick making factory, so they also need huge amount of soil, they also need water, so that can be easily taken from the river bank. So if that same building is built somewhere in Rajasthan, those factories cannot survive there because the location is wrong, and the things, the raw materials, whatever is needed by them, they are not going to get it. Right, so location of land is also very important. Improvements done on land by increasing irrigation potentiality. This means that what is the meaning of irrigation? First, we have to understand this. Irrigation means the artificial way of supplying water to the agricultural fields. It's called irrigation. So, if irrigations like tube wells, canals, tanks, wells, all these are developed, then the production of that land will develop more. Ability to organize. As I'm telling from the first chapter, that land is a passive factor of production, it cannot produce anything by itself. We have to add some active factors also in the correct proportion. How much amount of seed is needed there, how much amount of farmers, the 2 or 3 farmers are needed there, then how much what amount of water is needed there. We have to organize and think. Okay, ability to organize, one after the other factors are coming, and we have to organize what, how much, in what quantity, and how much, and when it is needed. We have to be able to organize. Land ownership laws. This means that if somebody is going to work in somebody else's piece of land, then that owner or maybe that labor is not going to work that hard for the other owners. But if owner himself is going to work in his own land, then the owner will work more in his own farm. So this is called, or this is titled as land ownership laws. Number 7, we are having availability of efficient labor. You have to understand this term. What is the meaning of efficient labor and labor? Labor means somebody who is unskilled, who is coming and just working, a physical labor. Okay, they are coming and just applying their physique and having work and working. But what is the meaning of efficient labor? Efficient labor means the labors which are able, they are able to adapt the changes, they are able to work with new technologies. This is known as efficient. They are skilled and they are trained. So this is availability of efficient labor. Means if in a area where there are people, those are much more skilled and they are having efficient labor, that land will produce more. Next, we are having improved technologies of production. Like for example, we have to take in 1960s, India got introduced to green revolution. Now this green revolution was happily accepted by the farmers of Punjab and Haryana, and they started using high yielding variety seeds, HYV seeds. They started using for that HYV seeds. They were having some manures, they're having fertilizers, they're having pesticides, everything is different. And they got introduced to new machines also, which were used in the farming or in the cultivation process. So there the production have increased much more. So if this kind of technologies or improved technologies are applied, then the production of the land will increase. Availability of capital. Availability of capital is a fundamental factor. Okay, fundamental factor of production. If anybody is not having capital with that person, not having any money with that person, then that person cannot buy any raw materials or any like seeds, or maybe the farmers he needs to appoint. He will not be able to do the proper arrangements for the production. So availability of capital is also very important. And the last point is government policy. Government policy means a proper agricultural policy that provides required assistance for farmers. Required assistance for the farmers. This means that if the government is adopting some policy for the farmers, that is very beneficial, because as in context of India, the farmers are really poor. So if the government will give them some training how to use the modern technologies or the modern techniques of farming, then the farming production will increase. Not only that, if the government provides them some subsidized loans and provide them with some machines, that will also be very much beneficial for them. So we have come to an end of this chapter, and hopefully you've understood the chapter. Thank you.